One sec. Okay, just had to make those notifications go away. Hi, I'm Andrew Johnson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Does your social media make you look fake? Well, today we're going to discuss this. Hopefully I'll give you a little bit of insight into why you might be feeling this way. Before I get into this, I want to give a little bit of context of my perspective on this. So I have spent a year off of social media. There are times in my life where I've spent weeks off of it. Perhaps during that time I could just grab a link or something I had pre-written and just post it in, and it looks like I'm active when really I'm not as engaged as I look like I am. During the year I spent off social media, I started to think about reasons to quit social media and how it is making connection harder for us as a humanity, as a social species. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and lay out some points to talk about why social media makes us look fake. I'm not saying you're fake. I'm saying your social media might make you look fake. That's my answer is it's yes and no. So let's look at some of the reasons for why that is. You may have noticed on social media that you have limits to what you can and can't say. There are certain words that we all know we can't say them or it'll get us into trouble. For some of us, we feel we may have to do an awkward dance, like we can't quite say exactly how we feel or bring up certain topics. So what begins to happen is a form of self-censorship where you can't really publicly say how you're feeling and it can stay private. It could be anything from gossiping or rumors to just an opinion you might have about a current world event or a particular social group that you have an opinion about, but you know if you say it, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to lose, you could potentially lose job opportunities, you could potentially lose friends, or cause chaos within your family unit. So we do have freedom. There is a line that we all know we can't cross. If you're doing the self-censorship and you're really worried about what other people think, just from experiments that I've done through my own social media and different things, I've learned that if you're trying to do the opposite extreme, you come across as fake. You're saying, I'm supportive of blank and blank and blank, but behind the scenes, it's all for show. Yeah, your social image might be what is utmost important to you, and this egoic kind of behavior, using social media to make yourself look great, it can come across as being fake. We know that authenticity isn't likable to an extent. Like, you can be real, but you can't be too real. That could be something that's working against you. You can look fake if you're being really concerned with your social image and trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're comparing yourself to somebody else. I don't have much else to add to that point. I think, I don't want to play the game of telling you that you're being apathetic or selfish or something like that. But there certainly is a part of being so absorbed into yourself that, it comes across as being unreal. It's just so far removed from actually just sitting across from a table and talking to someone. Your social media is going to make you look fake if you think this is where your value comes from. That my value is determined by how many likes, how many follows, how many retweets or replies, comments I have. That's not the measure of a person. There's a lot of great people out in the world that have zero, that no one knows their names. You don't know who they are. But social media doesn't determine our value, but that's what certain entities, corporate organizations would want us to believe. If I don't have these numbers quite right, therefore I'm not worthy. Back in the day, celebrities weren't valued based on this type of numbering system, their social credit or whatever. Basically, that's what it is. They were valued based on their talents, just based on being who they were. That's why an audience would choose them to be elevated, because I just value you because I dig what you do. It's not a put on. It's not, I didn't buy fake views or fake following or what have you. That for a lot of those old school celebrities or influencers, well, before the term influencer came along, their value was based on, like I'm saying, on the talent. I'm not saying that this is the way things are currently is a bad thing. I think we do need to rethink, where our worth comes from, where our value comes from. The other thing, which you just saw my my eyes. One other thing, and you just saw it, my eyes were darting somewhere else, right? So we have a little bit of a problem with distraction. Not only be not paying attention for 5 seconds, but to be excusing ourselves out of connection with ourselves and other people. And so without these social skills, it makes you look fake. I think underground there are people who will really pay attention to some long form information, just be able to bounce ideas around. It doesn't all have to be like the one of the issues with social media, one of them is that, I shouldn't make it sound like that, but there are problems with it when you are looking at it from the big picture. The way that we have to format ourselves to be very quick, concise, limit ourselves to a picture. You get one chance, and then it's gone. We are in a race to get eyeballs on content, on ourselves, before somebody else, because goodness knows what will happen if we don't do that. It's just, there is a real problem having to take a big chunk of information and here's the 5-second soundbite. Here's the one picture that says everything of the day. That's not how life works. The only reason that I'm talking about this is because everything's been reduced to social media at this point, from my view, to an online interaction. Look at what we're going through right now. So many people, all of your banking, your socializing, it's just you. It's just you sitting here in this. And I've often thought to myself, sometimes I'm not somebody to judge. It's not my place to judge. I'm watching how people have used social media just as an observer. If I was in school or something and I just noticed somebody, you're not getting anything out of that. Do you know what I mean? If you're just scroll constantly, I'm addicted to this thing, looking for a dopamine rush, you have to weigh if you're getting something from that, because the fakeness that we may be feeling and the flakiness of people we're feeling is because in real interactions we're not able to keep eye contact. This is actually very uncomfortable for a lot of people, to just be able to sit across from somebody and to be able to share something that is real. I don't think we can see yet how much this is affecting us. And it's worth saying again, like, we're acting like, this is hyperbole, okay? So we're acting like it's 1952. But this isn't 1952. This isn't like, hey, my life is perfect, and like, that's not who we are. We talk about authenticity, being vulnerable. At the same time, if you're going to be real about something, then people are like, whoa, man, that's too real. I can't digest that. I just want something simple. I've noticed there's a real contradiction, and this is leading into my next point. A contradiction when people say, I want something that's real, but then you get something that's real and then you don't want it, and you're like, let me just go back to, something mindless that I don't have to think about it. I just, what I want to get at is there's balance here that we can find. I don't think that we've come to that place yet. The next point here is privacy concerns. Why we can come across as being fake is because a lot of us, and rightly so, we don't feel like we want to reveal all kinds of information about ourselves. Even if you do, say, I'm somebody who's been open, outspoken in some ways, and I've kept a lot of things to myself. Surprisingly, I don't know if, my community would believe that, but, there's a certain line where you're like, I know if I say this or this, I'm going to be misinterpreted, or possibly my safety could be at risk. It's complicated, but if you're going to be so concerned about your privacy, that can make you come across as, reserved, getting warmer, reserved, I want to say cold, guarded, it's another word. I'm still not at the word I want to find. Maybe leave a comment for me if you can think of the word, but yeah, you can put your barriers up and therefore not really approachable or somebody that's inviting. Privacy isn't really a thing anymore. I mean, I believe there were people saying this like decades ago, maybe 30 years ago, saying we don't have privacy. So if they said that 30 years ago, I'm pretty sure in 2020 we don't have privacy either. It's a weird thing to be open on social media, because I've done it before too, where I thought I've said something once and then I just kind of think, oh well, everybody should know this now. You come out with something that you identify as, or something that you believe or have an opinion on. You say, I've put it out once and now everybody should know it. At the same time, because of the previous point, because people aren't paying attention and they don't care that much, you can put something out, but you can't be sure who's seen it or who hasn't seen it. You don't even know what's being viewed, what's not being viewed. There are certain things about myself that I don't want to say because it doesn't matter that much to put it out. Because say I put out a video where I do a big production about a quality of myself, or something I identify as, or something that I have an opinion on. Well, let's think about life in the big scheme. So say I'm in an old age home and I'm complaining to the nurses that there aren't enough people who are like me, and I want to put a group together, other old people who can talk to me about the things that I know and can relate to me. And say I say to that nurse, well, just go, you can reference this video I made when I was 20. He or she or they or it, could be a robot by that point, they may not have time. They may not know. They won't even recognize me anymore. So what I'm saying is it's like you're always having to tell your story, no matter what. There is no final stamp on any part of who you are. I think social media makes us forget the ways that we're actually a lot more fluid and we evolve, that what we put out isn't necessarily set in stone, but for some reason we act as though this is, a moment in time to define you for the rest of your life. When, say, me 40 years from now, I may not even remotely resemble who I am today. Maybe not. Maybe I'll still be saying some of the same things. But when you're engaging in social media, there's always so much to be aware of, is basically what I'm saying. And absolutely, yes, your habits can make you come across as not being an approachable person, a likable person, a respectable person. It makes you evaluate, how am I being interpreted here? Am I being misinterpreted? Am I being mischaracterized? Yeah, there's always 101 things that you have to weigh out. Is this the right time for me to do this? Is it just on and on and on? Oh, let me try to do one more. So, this is my paper. I throw it out. It doesn't matter. Shame and humiliation culture. So, we can come across as being fake over social media because, depending on the personality type that you are, say for myself, I'm a bit more of a empathic person, compassionate person. In this environment, in this ecosystem of social media, you can get into a defensive space and very highly reactive space because you're always, it's an absolutist statement, but it feels like you're always confronted with somebody else saying, don't do this, and don't, why did you say that? And actually, there's another source that you could look at here to. So it just goes on and on, the shame and humiliation. And so, yeah, it puts you in this space of like, I gotta stand up for myself and I unfriend this person and I block that person because it's like it's a sinkhole. It's a sinkhole. So I hope what I'm going to... I have a dog barking outside. Maybe I should edit this again. Here, let me start the video all over again because it wasn't perfect. Hi, I'm Andrew... No. Hi, I'm I hope what you can get from this is that there is a space to be a real person. From my view, I believe art might be our only way to do it. Hence why I've done a lot of the different things I've done. As far as just sitting on here and having an open dialogue with you about feelings, about clarity on a situation. I don't know if we have a space for that as much anymore, and I do have some concerns about our freedoms going into this decade. I find a solace in art, as I'm saying, through various forms of therapy and different people you can connect with offline or through text messaging, where you do get a chance to explain, where you are, or in a real life interaction, you're able to have moments of pause. You're able to ask a question for clarification and say, oh, that's what you meant. And then, oh, I was just really tired, or I drank a lot of coffee today and I misspoke, sorry. Instead of this, help, I'm in a box, I can't get out. You're trapped in this you're trapped into this space where you almost can't get a word in edgewise. I certainly, my heart goes out to the people like myself who feel like there hasn't been enough space made for a human being. Instead of, what did you do? You needed to do something. You should have had this. You must do. Sorry, I keep doing this gesture, but that's the way that people, it's the way people talk, you know, and the way that you come on here and I have to be really aggressive and really energetic, exciting. When that doesn't even remotely resemble anybody I've met. I don't know that guy. Who is that guy? I've seen a lot of people come on social media, and I've had it too, where I become something else entirely, and you're not sure where it's coming from. To me, I view social media as it's a conversation. I thought that's what this was, communications. But there's this thing of like, I have to get it right. I have to get the perfect picture, and I have to say the right thing. And you can tell I'm frustrated by it. I am frustrated by it. I've tried so many different formats, to be honest with you. I haven't had the best of luck in my history, but history of trying to have an online presence since 2005. 15 years, you'd think I should just throw in the towel, but I hope this video has been something that gives you some food for thought, kind of give you a chance to kind of slow down for a bit, catch your breath, think about the next time I'm going on here, what kind of content do I want to make? Do I need to say this? And right now? Do I need to be... May I take a moment to evaluate if I want to do this and how many hours I want to spend doing this. I hope somebody out there, the 2 or 3 people that like it, I hope you got something out of this. You know, what else am I going to do? Anyway, bye for now. Take care.